What's going on YouTube? This is Noah Cooper Fitness and I'm your host Noah Cooper. I have a very special episode planned for you guys today, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk to you guys about why you probably need to be doing exercises that you're not good at, or exercises that are really hard, and exercises that have a little bit more skill requirement and require a little bit more coordination. Things that take a little bit more patience and discipline to get really good at. I think that trying to be dismissive of these exercises or just brushing them off when you get frustrated is really going to hold you back from maximizing your progress. I feel like this is a very relevant topic to talk about right now because 2025 leading into 2026, science-based lifting really kind of took off and a lot of their ideas became very mainstream. If you get on Instagram right now, you're going to see a lot of science-based content, and it's going to be teaching you core tenets that are all kind of saying the same thing. So basically a lot of what science-based lifting has been teaching lately are things like lower volumes, lower rep ranges, and very, very stable exercises. And a lot of it has gotten to the point where it's like squat, bench, deadlift bad, you have to train this way, why are you using dumbbells, this machine is going to be more stable, and it's just really gone too far. There's a lot of arrogance in the science-based community, and just so much smugness and condescending attitudes towards people who train differently than they do. You'll see a video of a guy doing barbell rows, and there will inevitably be some science-based nerd in the comments saying, why are you doing barbell rows in 2026, it's suboptimal, and there's just so many arguments over these small details that really don't matter. All this does is cause paralysis by analysis, which ultimately leads to people not training hard at all. And if you watch science-based lifters train and you look at their exercise selection, a lot of what they do is just stupid. And I think it's that way on purpose, to be honest. I think a lot of these people have science-based attached to their personality, and they put out content that goes against the grain on purpose because they want it to be superior to conventional training. I think with content like this becoming more and more mainstream, it's just going to turn a lot of people away from exercises that have any kind of skill requirement or require any kind of coordination. And it's just going to push people away from doing things that require more discipline and a little bit of mental toughness to kind of get through. And this isn't me hating on machines at all, because I use machines in my own training and I think they're great. I'm not dogmatic about any one way of training, but I think that there is a ton of value in a little bit more skill-based movements that you can't really read about in a study. It used to be the case that if you weren't good at something, you kept doing it till you got good at it. First time any of us ever squatted, do you think we hit perfect depth on the first try? Probably not. I don't think really anybody does. But that's part of being a beginner. You show up, you have no experience and no skill, so you keep putting the work in, you keep practicing, you keep improving your technique, and then once you get good at it, that's ultimately when you start to reap the benefit. Front squats are a perfect example of this. Front squats are an exercise that people have said are bad for hypertrophy just because the skill and coordination demands are too high. You've got to have the bar up here on your collarbone, and it's really painful and uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to it. And you've just got to focus on keeping your elbows up and having such good technique that it's hard to really focus on just pushing your legs hard. And if you're trying to get big legs, why not just go do a hack squat or something? Well, I wanted to get good at front squats. I just wanted to try them, and they became one of my favorite exercises. I've been doing them for a while now. And front squats were actually the one exercise that showed me that my core was weak. So I hadn't been training my core for a very long time. I hadn't been doing it. I kind of fell victim to the idea that if you do squats and deadlifts, then you don't really need to train your core because they're going to give you all the core development you need, which is not true. And that's why I train core twice a week now. But if I hadn't been doing front squats, I would never have known that. I was doing a set and I could feel my core working so much harder than it should have been, to the point that I felt like I wasn't getting as much out of my leg training as I should have been. And so that kind of taught me, hey, you know what, this is a weakness that I have. Let me go ahead and attack this. Exercises like this will expose your weak points and show you that you have things to work on that you otherwise would never have thought about. Another great example of this is ring push-ups. I just started doing these and they're actually really fun. As you can see, my arms are shaking all over the place. I don't have a lot of stability. You know, I could just accept that this is not a stable exercise and move on to something else, or I could keep doing it until I actually get the stability down and then reap the benefits of this really amazing exercise. So what do you do if you want to be good at an exercise and you're giving it a fair shot, but you just can't seem to make it work for you? That is exactly what happened with me and preacher curls. Preacher curls are a phenomenal biceps exercise, but for whatever reason, I just could not do them without pain. I would put 10 pounds on each side of an easy curl bar, could have done 15, 20 reps with that easily, but I had intense pain in my brachioradialis to the point that I felt like something was going to tear if I kept trying. At this point, I knew it was time to take a step back, but I didn't want to give up on the exercise entirely. So I thought, okay, I'll try the machine preacher curl instead. I'll expose myself to a very similar stimulus so I can still reap the benefit. Maybe if I get really good at these and I'm used to doing the exercise, then maybe I can go back to the easy curl bar at some point. And that's exactly what I did. And now to this day, I can do preacher curls with an easy curl bar as heavy as I want to with zero pain. Another thing too is that you really shouldn't try to just be perfect at something right off the bat. You may have to accept your victories in the forms of increasing your range of motion over time, improving your flexibility and mobility. You know, if you see somebody doing stiff leg deadlifts and they're bringing the bar all the way down to their ankles with good technique, you may not be able to do that. You may feel an insane hamstring stretch just barely bringing the bar down past your knees, and that's okay. It's like playing a video game and coming across a really cool dungeon and you know there's good loot in there, but you can't enter the dungeon yet because you don't have the right quest item or you're not a high enough level yet. It's the same exact concept. Or it's something like playing an instrument and all you do is play really easy songs. You're never going to get the most out of something if you're not willing to go and put the work in somewhere else and challenge yourself with something that you are not good at yet. That's how you get better at anything. Practice, patience, and discipline. And I don't want that to be something that is just a lost art of lifting. It's about time to wrap this up, fellas, but I hope you found this video helpful and you can apply the tips that I've talked about in your own training. If you want to see more of my content, please go give me a follow at Noah Cooper Fitness on Instagram. And I don't know when my next YouTube video will be, but go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on the gains, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.